Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
Alif Lam Mim.
Alif Lam Mim.
ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah.
الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون.
Who believe in the unseen, establish prayer, and spend out of what we have provided for them.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Quran has 29 cryptic codes that are in the form of letter combinations known as Muqatta'at. At the beginning of 29 of the 114 chapters of the book. And they have remained a mystery for the last 1,400 years. Over here we have these 29 mysterious codes. As you can see, the first of them here is in the beginning of the second chapter of the Quran, right after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And here we have the first one, Alif Lam Mim, is in the beginning of chapter 2. And the last one of them is, which is 29th, is in the beginning of chapter 68. However, a simple numerical study of Muqatta'at, as we introduced in this discussion, reveals a mathematical structure that is finely tuned and immensely meaningful, confirming the majesty of the Quran and the existence of God. Here are the 29 codes, and between these 29 there are 38 chapters that don't have the codes. So from chapter 2 all the way through chapter 68, there are 67 chapters. 29 plus 38 is equal to 67. This is as simple as you can see it. This is a very simple mathematical work. And when we subtract 29 from 38, we have 9 left. All these 4 numbers are very significant in this discussion and the following. But in this discussion, number 9 is more significant, and we see that in this work. So there are 29 coded chapters here. That makes 43% of these 67 chapters, and 38 codeless chapters. That makes 57% of these 69 chapters. In this video, in a number of simple steps, very simple, small numbers, simple steps, we demonstrate how the 29 chapters with Muqatta'at and the 38 chapters without them in oneness and unity form a fascinating, interconnected mathematical framework. And this is what you're going to see, inshallah. Now here, in an extraordinary and thought-provoking way, verses proclaiming the majesty of the Quran appear almost immediately after the seemingly meaningless Muqatta'at in 24 of the 29 chapters, or basically around 82% of the time. And this is very unusual to have verses about the greatness and majesty of the Quran almost immediately follow some things that appear to be meaningless. Here are two examples. This is Alif Lam Mim, which is the first one that appears in the Quran. It's the first verse of chapter 2, and you see it here again. And right after that, we have the second verse here that tells us this is the book in which there is no doubt, a guide for the righteous. And that is the second verse of chapter 2. Now here there are only two possibilities: contradiction or paradox. And these take place in the Quran with a consistency of 82%. The second example is tossing meme. The first verse of chapter 26. And when we get to the next verse, which is verse 2 of chapter 26, we have these are the verses of the clarifying book. How clarifying is this if there is no meaning for tossing me? Of course there is meaning. Indeed, Muqatta'at's mathematical structure confirms and validates these verses. Muqatta'at, these cryptic codes, are so significant and so meaningful that validates these verses. These verses are there because of the Muqatta'at is there. They are there. Because they are so significant. Interestingly, 100% of the 29 letter combinations appear immediately after the Bismillah at the beginning of each of the 29 chapters, demonstrating uniformity, consistency, and order. And the consistency here is 100%. And this is in the context that the Quran was revealed in a small parts over a period of 23 years in a tribal environment. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, could not read and write. We have 100% consistency. Yeah. Because these are significant, we go over them again. There are 38 chapters without Muqatta'at, between the 29 chapters with Muqatta'at. And there are 67 chapters in Muqatta'at's mathematical structure. And these are the significant numbers. There are three main letter combinations. 5 of A type, which is, we have 5 Alif Lam Ras. 6 of the B types, here we have 6 Alif Lam Mim. And 7 of the C types, and here we have 7 Ham Mim. And they are in consecutive order, 5, 6, and 7. Now, interestingly, the three main combinations are also finished in consecutive orders of 5, 6, and 7. You can see that the 5 Alif Lam Ras are completed here. The 6 Alif Lam Mims are completed after the 5 here. And the 7 Ham Mim are completed right after the 6. This arrangement is intentional. And this is why. The three main combinations that we have here subdivide the 29 codes into 4 distinct fundamental numbers in perfect ascending order. Perfect ascending order. So we already had 5, the 5 of A type completed here. But over here we see this Alif Lam Ra is the 9th code. And then we see the 6 Alif Lam Ras are completed here. And it turns out this Alif Lam Mim is the 18th code, which is 2 times 9. And here we have the 7 Ham Mims, and we see that it is completed here, which is the 27th code. So 9, 18, and 27, ascending order. We can see it as 1 times 9, 2 times 9, and 3 times 9, which is also consecutive order. And then we have the last group, which consists of 2 codes, Qaf and Nun. So we know that from chapter 2 to 68, there are 29 coded chapters. These are here, coded chapters. And 38 codeless chapters, which we have them here. So 57% of the 69 is codeless, 43% is coded, and as you can see, the coded chapter's success probability on the first trial is 0.43 or 43%. So if you had these 38 and these 29 in this jar, and you were going to pull one out, the probability of pulling one of the 38 is greater because there are 38 of them in this jar. But against this odd, each of the four groups here, which is group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4, each of the four groups starts and finishes with a coded chapter, despite the lower probability of success. So the first group begins with a coded chapter in chapter 2, completed with a coded chapter in chapter 15, begin with a coded chapters. That means they have Muqatta'at in chapter 19, and then completed with the coded chapters in chapter 32, begins with 36 that has Muqatta'at. Again, 46 has it, which is completing the group, and then group 4, chapter 51, chapter 50 has it, and then chapter 68 has it. So against the odds and the probability of success, all of the four groups begin with the coded chapters and finishes with the coded chapters. Probability. It is highly unlikely that this arrangement happened by random chance. It's very unlikely. It is possible, but it is unlikely. Now here, this is what we have. We have the four groups, and in the four groups we have 9 coded chapters in the first group, 9 coded chapters in the second group, 9 coded chapters in the third group, and 2 coded chapters in the fourth group. And we know that the probability of success on the first trial for a coded chapter is only 43%. It's lower than the codeless chapters. But here we see that, surprisingly, the first 3 groups also begin with 2 coded chapters. As you can see, 2 coded chapters, 2 coded chapters, 2 coded chapters. They begin with 2 coded chapters and conclude with a set of 6 or 7 consecutively coded chapters, arranged in almost identical sequences. So not only they are consecutively, 7 consecutively, 6 consecutively, not only they are in consecutive manner, but they also arranged in almost identical sequences. Here we have two consecutive chapters that have the code, chapter 2 and chapter 3. We come here, we see the same, it's similar, two consecutive chapters, but it's 19 and 20. They have codes. Then we come over here, we see two chapters, but there is one gap between these two. But again, there are only two chapters. So there's a small variation here. Then we come over here. We see 7 consecutively coded chapters from 40 to going through 46. We come here, we see exactly again 7 consecutively coded chapters. And then we come over here, we see 6 consecutively coded chapters. So there's the difference here. So we have a small variation here and a small variation here. So these are almost identical. And what's the probability here? Given the decreasing probability of success of the coded chapters, because since, they are mainly coded chapters that are populating these groups, when you use some of them, the probability of success for the next coded chapters to come out is less. So given the decreasing probability of success of the coded chapters, it is nearly impossible, it's almost impossible to randomly select 3 consecutive, almost identical sequences for the first group, the second group, and the third group. It's almost impossible. This distribution is almost certainly by design. This distribution is almost certainly by design. Now here, there is perfect balance and harmony between the 29 coded chapters and the 38 codeless chapters. Now if you count these, you're going to see that there are 9 coded chapters here, 9 coded chapters here, 9 coded chapters here, and 2 coded chapters here. So we add them up. Perfect balance. Okay. When we add them up, we have 29 coded chapters. They are inside. Not a single one of them is between these gaps. All of the 29 coded chapters are inside the groups. 9 of them here, 9 of them here, 9 of them here, and 2 of them here. So there ought to be, these areas should be filled with codeless chapters. Now let's see how that goes. Now you can see that the codeless chapters inside the 4 groups, when you add these 5, these 5, these 2, and this 17, are almost give you exactly 29 codeless chapters inside the groups. So you have 29 coded chapters inside the group, and you have 29 codeless chapters inside the group. So that leaves what? That leaves 9 codeless chapters to fill the gaps here. And let's see how that goes. Okay, now this is how it goes. The remaining 9 codeless chapters elegantly connect and unify the 4 groups. Saying it again. The remaining 9, how significant this 9 is, the remaining 9 codeless chapters elegantly connect and unify the 4 groups, showcasing a finely tuned and meaningful mathematical structure that demonstrate the majesty of the Quran, but also the existence of God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how beautiful it is. You can see 3 consecutive chapters of 16 and 17 and 18, they don't have codes. They are between G1 and G2. Another 3 consecutive chapters without codes, 33, 34, 35, are between group 2 and group 3. Beautiful, Allahu Akbar. And there are 3 consecutive codeless chapters, 47, 48, 49, right in here. Of course, for everything else, you know that the beginning is going to be a coded chapters and the ending is going to be a coded chapters in every one of them. So beautiful. This divine mathematical structure is objective. It's mathematical and is verifiable and holds true everywhere. It doesn't matter if you speak English or Chinese or Farsi or Arabic. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter if you are black and white or red or brown. It doesn't matter. This is true everywhere and for everyone. And when you go to Quran, you can see it. You can verify it easily that this is true. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. With the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the following videos, this was the beginning of the work actually that we had here in this video. Inshallah, we will reflect on the Muqatta'at's divine mathematical structure in the context of the Quran's 114 chapters. That's the bigger picture, how they work there. What's the relationship? So that is something, inshallah, we will do in coming videos. But also its fundamental meanings. There are fundamental meanings. For one thing, they let us have a better understanding of how majestic the Quran is. And also its significance for religion, math, science, and philosophy. Thank you for watching. God bless you and have a nice day.